Set to start the second quarter. State College, Pennsylvania, no score between 7th-ranked Nebraska and number 25 Penn State. The Nittany Lions have a first down at their own 44-yard line. Gerald Smith is checked in as one of the wide receivers, along with Bryant Johnson. Mills, quick drop, quick throw. Got it out to his fullback, and he picked up about 3. Sean McHugh is a big target. Used to be a tight end. He's now a fullback. He's about 260 or more, and he's about 6'5".
Franny Ganner says he can run. He's got good hands, and he can run.
Had a great game against Iowa last year. Had a career high in catches before suffering an injury that put him out for the rest of the season.
Backup quarterback is in the ball game again. Robinson.
Yeah. Let's not get another Johnson. Yeah. He's in a slot on the left side. Zach Mills throws, and it's completed out to the 30-yard line, and it's Bryant Johnson, and that was a heck of an adjustment on that throw, and a 23-yard gain. And Swanee, I want to bring you in because at practice the other day you were talking about the effortless way that these guys pull these balls in.
And it's absolutely amazing. I haven't seen it for 4 or 5 years at Penn State. But Bryant Johnson and Tony Johnson make better catches at practice than you see them making out here in the football field. And that's something you can't teach someone. Once you get one receiver who does that consistently in practice, it motivates the other guys, makes everyone better. These guys are doing it the best I've seen in several years for Penn State.
Tell you what, that was almost a Lynn Swan adjustment on that ball, and he gets it down to the 29-yard line. Now swing pass out of the backfield, and Larry Johnson gathers this one in. Johnson still on his feet inside the 10. First and goal, Penn State.
You think that wasn't a good throw? That was a heck of a throw. That was one of the best throws because he had to throw it around the defensive man. He's going to get pressure from the defensive man right there. It was Kelsey. He had to throw it inside of him. Just laid it up, give him enough air, trust that Johnson's going to get there. A good play.
Now it's 3 wideouts. Bryant Johnson's matched up on DeJuan Gross down to the bottom of your screen. First and goal, Penn State at the Nebraska 8-yard line. Mills on a crossing route, and it's only about a yard gain to Larry Johnson. Barrett Rude, the linebacker, and Philip Bland, the safety, made the tackle. And it's second down and goal.
All right, what do you think? You think Joe Paterno's calling these plays? 15 of the first 20 plays for Penn State have been passes.
Joe didn't throw that many passes in a year at Brown.
Oh, we had a great conversation. Had great lunch with him yesterday.
He still holds the Brown record for most interceptions by a defensive back, and he's a quarterback as well.
Yeah, he played both ways, he said. He says, guys were running off the field. He says, I stayed out there.
Mills out of the shotgun. Option. Pitch to Johnson. Cuts in. Touchdown! Happy Valley. What a beautiful pitch by Mills at the last instant, and then the cutback run by Johnson for the touchdown.
Tell you what, though, it could have been disaster, and I'll show you why in a minute.
Extra point, Robbie Gould in, Chris Gannon to hold. Gould's extra is right down the middle. 8 plays in 80 yards. Go the Nittany Lions, and a 7-yard touchdown run by Larry Johnson. Penalty marker on the play, and Gross is down and limping. He's the one, I think, trying to get to Robbie Gould on the extra point. Roughing the kicker.
Kickoff,
personal foul, roughing the kicker, 15 yards, assessed on the kickoff. Touchdown, extra point.
So Larry Johnson, the first score of the night, comes from 7 yards out. Kelsey almost swiped it, but Penn State scores 7-0, Nittany Lions.
Central.
The The Nittany Lions have a head start in that direction. They lead 7-0. And now with the penalty on the roughing the kicker on the extra point, the ball will be spotted for Robbie Gould at midfield. Unless Penn State tries an onside kick here, he should be able to knock this one into the crowd. Josh Davis is back deep for Nebraska. And they do pooch it to the far side. Hangs up there. Fielded at the 15. Hasselbrook.
Smart play.
And down he goes under a heat.
Anybody that says the game has passed Joe Paterno by hasn't seen this first half. All the right moves.
Nebraska has started at their own 20 twice, at their own 1 on that great punt, and now at the 16.
Let's go back and take a look. Watch the touchdown. Watch to the left of your screen. This is the touchdown run by Penn State. Watch Kelsey, number 57, right here. He almost could pick that ball off, and if he does, he'd go the other way and it'd be a touchdown for Nebraska. How close this game is. Almost going one way versus the other.
That could have been an 86-yard touchdown for Nebraska. As it is, it's Penn State on the board first. They lead 7-0. Lord on the option. Now the drop back to throw. Down the middle. Caught across the 30-yard line out to the 32 to Ross Pilkington. Pickup of 16.
Well, that's what Tom Bradley and the defense had been afraid of, is the option fake, the option pass, where you come down the line, you set up, and you throw it. The defensive backs played it very well. They were deep, nobody behind them.
There's a good look at Tom, defensive coordinator after the retirement of Jerry Sandusky. First down, Nebraska just outside its own 32-yard line. Here's Lord. On the keeper, got a blocker in front. Jamal Lord tripped himself up, still on his feet, and he's down to the 41-yard line. Had he been able to keep his footing, I think he'd have gone farther than the 27 yards he went.
He came into the ball game the leading rusher for Nebraska. The first 4 ball games, he was the leading rusher.
He's the only guy that's had a 100-yard game so far.
There'll be a huge hole right in here. Look at this hole he's got to run through. The back, Davies doesn't have anybody to block.
Finally, he got him one, a defensive back, and that sprung him for about 10 more yards. So it's Nebraska in Penn State territory, their deepest penetration at the 41-yard line.
Pass.
Play fake, got a man open, got him. Out of bounds at the 26. It's Aaron Galladay, his tight end. So Nebraska's got something cooking here.
They're starting to loosen it up a little bit. First, Nebraska's first, let me see, 18 plays, 15 of the first 18 were runs. Now 2 of the last 3 have been passes, and that's where they've done their business on this drive.
His arm has come along, Bob, just in the first 3 games of this season compared to last year.
It has, and that's what Frank was telling us the other day. Solich, the biggest surprise for him is the passing game of Jamal Lord.
Well, the Huskers have worked it to the Nittany Lions 25. Now they go back to the ground game, and it's Diedrich. And Darren bounces off would-be tacklers and gets inside the 20 down to the 19. Pickup of about 6. 11:39 to go first half. If you're just joining us, Penn State leads by a Larry Johnson touchdown run of 7 yards.
Nebraska's been in a lot of big games and a lot of big possessions, and they know when you're on the road and your home team scores, it gets the crowd, and the best way you can do is come right back down the field and score a touchdown yourself.
They'd love to come up with an answer here, and they're in the red zone now, just inside the Penn State 20. Lord will keep it on the option. And he goes down inside the 15. Down to about the 14. It's going to be another Nebraska first down. So an excellent drive by the Huskers. They started this at their own 20. Beg your pardon, they started this one at their own 16 after that pooch kickoff. Corey Ross checks back in. He's more the size of Coach Solich, 5'6". There's Jamal Lord's numbers. Both quarterbacks have looked good. First down, Lord to throw. Going to swing it out of the backfield. Josh Davis. Davis is inside the 5, and he might have another first down. Davis is a dangerous return man and a good receiver.
Nice play by Lord. straight drop back. You show pass all the way. If it's not there, 3 receivers were downfield. There's your outlet man. Just give it to him. Let him get some yardage.
So now we'll bring the chains from the far side to see whether or not this is a first down. This one's really close. I mean, really close. They're still, it's 3 lengths shy. John Laurie's our referee, and he says 3 chain links, so we'll go with that. This is actually a better spot for him than if it was a first down, because it's only going to be second down and 3 chain lengths now, and they're only 4 yards away from the end zone.
It really gives them an extra play.
Right.
Bob and Brad, here's where Nebraska really needs to get a play and just stick with it. The Nittany Lion crowd, fans are a lot that's down here. It is hard to hear anything, and I think Jamal Lord just has to have one play and everybody get off on the same count.
Yeah, and he doesn't want a quick count, and he doesn't want any trick counts. You just want to go on a routine count. And the guys out on the outsides, the tight ends and the wide receivers, they're not going to be able to move until the inside guys move.
Everybody packed in tight, second down and inches. Straight up the middle is Davies, the fullback, and he's got it first and goal for Nebraska. Big pile of humanity on the bottom, and Michael Haynes is down there along with Anthony Adams. So it's first and goal for the Cornhuskers, trying to answer with a touchdown of their own.
Davies doesn't get an opportunity to carry it too often.
At 26 yards and a couple of touchdowns coming in on his 10 carries. He's carried it a couple of times tonight. And now it's first and goal, Nebraska. Let's see if they've got an answer for the Penn State touchdown. Davies again, straight ahead, touchdown, Cornhuskers. Doesn't carry it often, but when he does, a lot of times it's the end zone. So Nebraska just powered it down the field, 84 yards.
And that's what makes Nebraska so difficult. They've got all these different types of options. They've got the speed option and all the other ones that they've got. Then they've got the power game, what you're seeing right here. The offensive lineman just firing out and giving it to their fullback and just say, hey, stop us. Then they've got the speed game on the outside, the sweeps and the toss.
Josh Brown in hits the extra point, and we are evened up at Beaver Stadium. Nebraska takes it the length of the field, and the number 7 team in the country lets its fullback do the honors. We're all tied at 7.
ABC Tuesday.
Good run on that drive by Jamal Lord. 27-yarder helped get him down in Penn State territory, and then the Big Eaters took over and led the way down to get it close. And over 10 yards of play on that drive to answer Penn State's touchdown with one of their own. We're tied at 7. Brown kicks it down to Larry Johnson at the 2. And he's not even going to make the 20. So Penn State will work on offense. After we tell you that ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Chrysler. Drive equals love. Bowflex for real fitness results. And Bud Light for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. That guy's had too many Bud Lights. He's upside down. A little red. Cheering for his Cornhuskers. The Huskers had hoped to bring as many as 10,000 fans, but as we told you earlier, the Penn State faithful said they called it Operation Visine. Let's keep the red out. So we really don't know how many Nebraska fans are here, but a lot of them at least made the trip. Robinson, the backup quarterback, is in there again. Here's an end around. And it's him. Michael Robinson breaks into the clear. Across the 40. And out to midfield.
My quarterback stumbled and fell out of bounds.
He's still got 28 yards. He's a heck of a runner. Bob mentioned that before.
We saw some stuff at practice the other day, which I won't mention because Nebraska might be watching and have some cell phones, but this was one of them, a little reverse. But he's been in there on 3 or 4 different occasions, both quarterbacks in the ball game. First time they've used him, and he's getting some. Randy Gannon right there is just smiling. Say, what's the matter? Aren't you in shape?
Everybody's smiling. They're smiling about that little trip out there.
That's what they're smiling about for sure.
Joe Pye likes what he sees at the 47, first down. Both receivers to the right as Zach Mills drops to throw, wants to come back the other way. Larry Johnson on a naked swing pass, and Johnson tiptoes down the sideline, and he got almost to the 45. Nifty little run by the big guy. 9:38 left in the half. Tie game at 7 apiece. He's only won 328 games. How about that? Everybody was asking Joe this week about the game 20 years ago against Nebraska when they came in here, and it was a thriller. 27-24 went down the last 4 seconds. Joe says, I kind of remember, but you got to remember, that's 200 games ago. Most guys don't get to coach that many. Robinson's back out there again in the slot and on the move. And this time they go straight ahead to Larry Johnson and fake the handoff after that to Robinson, and it doesn't get much, maybe a yard. Our Pacific Life game summary so far in the ball game, and partner, both quarterbacks look pretty good.
They do. We talked about him opening up. Lord has 55 yards passing, 41. He's been most of their offense. And Zach Mills is they're passing first and running second. In fact, they've only rushed for 43 yards as Penn State and thrown for 146.
Nearing the 9-minute mark in this quarter, a big third down for both teams. 3rd and 2. Mills option, pitch to Johnson's got the first, got a bunch more. Larry Johnson cuts back, he's down to the 27-yard line. Best run of the night by Johnson, and his brother Tony helps him up. He was helped leading the way as a wide receiver with a block out there.
Every defensive coach you talk to, the first question they want to know about the team that they're preparing for is, do they run the option?
That's right.
Penn State likes to throw the football. They've been seeing it, but they can also run the option. And Zach Mills, this is the value of Zach Mills. He can run the option.
He took a licking from T.J. Hollowell when he let go of the ball, but again, it's a big gainer.
And good blocking downfield.
And we've got a timeout. Penn State's got a first down when we come back. They're trying to come back with a touchdown drive of their own. We're tied at 7. Early on, we had 5 punts. Now we've had 80 and 84-yard touchdown drives. We're even at 7, and Penn State on the march again. Look out from behind. Kelsey gets Mills.
It looked like he was offside.
Boy, either that or he got the greatest start you're ever going to see. There are no flags.
Just because he moved before the snap doesn't mean he was offside.
He might have been backed away far enough that he gave himself a running start.
Exactly.
So Chris with a sack. He had a couple last week in the win over Utah State.
He's got 4 sacks on the year.
And Bob and Brad, it makes me wonder what Chris saw that he would take that chance.
Maybe had the snap count figured out. Flags down now, down the middle. Ernie Terrell. But again, a penalty marker on the play. 21 yards, zip to Terrell. Well, let's wait and see about the marker. John Laurie will let us know after he talks with his lineman. It's a motion penalty, and it'll negate a big gainer for Penn State.
Illegal motion, offense, 5 yards, replay second down.
Joe wants to know who.
Yeah, he wants to know who. College ball, they don't name numbers, but that man knows right there. Or he's supposed to know. The other official maybe didn't know. It was probably one of the wide receivers.
So now the head linesman may have let him know. At any rate, instead of way down around the 15-yard line, it costs them 26 yards. They come back out to the 39. First 3 drives, not much on the ground, as Bob mentioned earlier, but they have a little something going here. But now they come out with a second down and long yardage. Mills, again from behind. He got pressure, but he's got a man wide open. It's Brian Johnson inside the 20. He's got a first down, Penn State. They got 27 yards back after losing 26. Brian Johnson was wide open.
It's a well-designed play. The two receivers here are going to go downfield, and Johnson on this side is going to come straight across field, and everybody's going to be cleared out by then. And look how wide open he is. Look at this. That's why he can play pitch and catch.
Ryan Johnson's got 5 catches for 105 yards. Mills, quarterback draw, tucks it, and he gets run down by Titus Adams, the defensive tackle. That'll bring up second down. We approach 7 minutes. You can see Joe say, I thought that one was going to work.
Joe likes those ones that work. When they don't work. But I'll tell you, Fran Ganner is calling a great game.
Yes,
Penn
he is.
State, he's throwing first and running second. 17 passes, 10 rushes for Penn State.
Second down and 11. There's Fran Ganner, the offensive coordinator and assistant head coach here at Penn State. Both wideouts up to the top of your screen. Mills rolls that way and throws. Got his man. Tony Johnson this time. I don't know that he got a first down. He went out right by the stick. Might be a little bit short. He is.
Well, the Miami Hurricanes last year made a bunch of big plays and really showed some teams, I think, how to beat Nebraska and how you can throw on them. This is a little bit semi-roll, which helps the protection sometimes. Gets you closer to where you're throwing the football. That's just nice pitch and catch there.
There was. About the length of the football, shy of a first down.
You think when Colorado and the University of Miami at the end of the season last year ran up big scores and big yardage on Nebraska, there wasn't a bunch of their opponents this year sending out for those two films?
Colorado rushed.
How did you do it? Yeah.
Colorado rushed for 380 yards and 8 touchdowns, and then Kenny Dorsey comes back and throws for a career high 362 in the national championship game. So they did it in a couple different ways. Frank Solich told us this week we've tried to correct those issues. We know what everybody saw in those last 2 games last year.
Said defensively we need to be more physical. We need guys in the secondary and linebacker that can tackle, first of all. And secondly, on the passing end of it, they're playing more zone so the defensive backs can see the ball.
Zach Mills, Nebraska wasn't ready defensively, and on 3rd and inches, he just barrels ahead. Nebraska wasn't even, their defensive line, not even in their stances, I don't think.
Quick count, and I like this. And not enough teams do this.
Watch Penn State come up to the ball, and nobody's even in a down stance.
Watch how quickly the Penn State gets down. These guys are still talking about it right here in the white shirts. It's more things you can do.
That is going to make Craig Bohl happy, the defensive coordinator. 1st and goal, Nittany Lions trying to take the lead again. Mills lofts it out. McHugh in and out of his hands. He got turned around a little bit.
Yeah, threw it behind him.
It'll be 2nd down.
Maybe Mills was expecting him to be a little bit deeper, but 1st down inside the 5.
Watch Sean do this little pirouette near the goal line where he tries to find a handle. Got his feet a little tangled. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, you know, he's, like you say, 6'5", 260. And that would have been a good catch. He probably should have had it.
Full house backfield. 2nd and goal. And motion on the right side, it looked like, for Penn State, and flags are down.
That's tough.
And this might make it way back about the 7-yard line, if it's what we think it is.
Offensively, these are tough yardage inside the 5. You give up 5 yards down there, it's a whole different situation.
Ball start offense. 5 yards. 3-play 2nd down.
I think it was maybe Casey Williams, the tight end. It was the right side of the offensive line for Penn State. And oh boy, you think he's not into it?
Oh, sure. I know what he's saying. He says, what with all that motion? Why did we do all that motion?
Yep.
Why did we send the guy left and then did he not? A lot of fans watching may say, did he not know where he was supposed to be? No. If you start motion left, the defense changes, and sometimes you move him back. It just to confuse the defense.
11th play of the drive now from the 6. Mills double pumps. McHugh got pasted out there in the flat by Philip Bland from his safety spot, and it's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, now what looked like a sure Penn State touchdown from inside the 2 may not get there now. I mean, you may have to settle for a field goal. watching some of those games today. I forget which one it was, but it looked like a sure touchdown for the offense, and ended up not getting any points.
Right.
They fumbled.
Well, we only watched about 4 games this afternoon, so who knows which one that was.
Yeah.
So now it's 3rd down and goal. Straight drop for Mills. Wanted to flare it out in the right flat. Now comes back the other way. And that ball is caught, I think, by Tony Johnson. He one-handed that thing at about the 3-yard line.
Still going to be short.
It'll bring out the field goal unit. Heck of a catch, though. It almost looked like he was trying to throw that thing out of bounds, and Tony Johnson one-handed it. So it is a lost touchdown opportunity, but you would think Robbie Gould would knock this thing through on the field goal. He's 2 out of 3 on field goals this season. Hit a couple last week, 2 weeks ago actually. Hit from 23 and 34 in the opener against Central Florida. Missed from 48. This should be a chip shot. And he's got it and gives Penn State the lead back. So Robbie Gould, a 20-yard field goal with just under 6 minutes remaining in the first half. The Nittany Lions think an upset. They lead Nebraska by 3. Jamal Lord looking up at that scoreboard with the itch to get the ball back offensively. They will here in a moment on the kickoff. As Penn State, a 78-yard drive in 13 plays. It looked like it was going to be a sure thing touchdown. Instead, they had to settle for a 20-yard field goal, and they lead 10-7. David Kimball has got a big leg. He'd like to keep this out of the hands of Josh Davis. Josh back at the goal line for Nebraska. He was 14th in the country last year in kickoff returns. It's a good kick. Davis has a beat on it and thought about bringing it out from 5 yards deep. Thinks better of it and takes a knee.
Here now our Chrysler passing playbook. Nebraska, lots of option, but they have a sneaky passing game. Option starts, they try to get the strong safety to come up to play the option to the outside. Quarterback goes down the line, drops back, and throws to the wide receiver behind the strong safety to get into that area where the strong safety would have been if he hadn't come up to stop the option.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times tonight.
Yeah, they've tried it a couple times, and the strong safeties, weak safety, have been back and played it very well.
Corey Ross all wrapped up, knocked back by the Penn State defense. Derek Wake led the charge. And boy, is it good to see Derek Wake making tackles, because the last time we saw him was right here on his home field in the opener against Miami last year. A devastating injury in the first quarter. And he's a heck of a football player, and now back and healthy.
Never forget that. He tried to jump over the block of one of the backs and came down wrong on his knee and had surgery.
This was against the Hurricanes in the season opener. Watch Derek go airborne. Got cut by Willis McGahee. And you'll see him land on that knee. And Kenny Dorsey even knew he was hurt. Came over and said, "Get the trainers out of here. Lord's in trouble." Trying to run out of that trouble, and does somehow. Tracked down on the far side as he goes out of bounds at about. Thank you, John. All Tallman Gardner does is catch touchdown pass.
Yeah, just get it out there to him, huh?
Now the crowd up for the Lion defense. 3rd and 6. Lord deep, overshot his intended man, Ross Pilkington. Pretty nice coverage back there. Richard Gardner was with him. Nebraska's got to give it up. They are hungry in State College to see Penn State come back to what they once were.
Yes. Jamal's looking up at the scoreboard to see how much he overthrew the receiver. He had some room to the inside if he would have thrown it more to the middle.
Derek Wake again. Grease gave him a pop after he let go of that ball. That didn't help the cause either. Kyle Larson to punt. He got all of this one. Ryan Johnson from the 20. Made the first man miss. And goes for about 14 on the return. Good looking return after a 55-yard punt. Next weekend, talk about Lions, let's talk about Tigers. Tiger Woods heads a field that includes British Open champ Ernie Els, Sergio Garcia, and Phil Mickelson. The World Golf Championships, American Express Championship, ABC's coverage Starts next Saturday at 1 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Final round coverage next Sunday at 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific.
They're warming up for the Ryder Cup.
That's right.
It's in a couple weeks.
At the 34-yard line. Let's see what Penn State does with the remaining 4 minutes, 40 seconds of the first half. They lead by 3. They haven't played it close to the vest so far tonight, I'll tell you that much. And they're coming up throwing. Maybe. Mills across the middle. Got his tight end, Casey Williams. And Williams rumbles into Nebraska territory. A pickup of 18.
I'm really impressed with Mills.
So am I.
Really impressed with how calm he is and how cool he is. He never rushes. Don't get upset. Take a look from the end zone. He's doing a drop back and pass. Now, what he wants to throw is not there. Now look what he does. He finds a tight end right there in the middle, wide open, makes something out of nothing. Doesn't panic. He had plenty of time to get rid of the football.
Over 200 in the half, Bob.
More I see of this kid, more impressed I am.
At the 46 of Nebraska. Out of the shotgun now. Fakes the handoff inside, runs it straight up the middle himself. He's close to another first down. Ball was dead. It came loose at the end, but Mills got about 9, maybe more. Jarrell Pippins made the stop.
I know this kid was running long before he was throwing, but I hate to see a kid that's doing so well, moving the club, taking chances on getting injury by just running a quarterback. But that's why this offense is working, is because of his mobility.
Last year he had 187 yards on the ground. Rand Ganner looking down at that card, wondering what they'll come up with here. Or we're wondering. Second down and short. Play action. Mills waited too long, but he got it out almost complete anyway to Larry Johnson. Boy, he got whacked when he let go of that thing by Chris Kelsey again.
Well, Matt Schmidt, the offensive tackle over there, is doing a pretty nice job of holding Kelsey down. This time everybody was covered, and he just couldn't hold it any longer. He had to throw it to the outside, which is the right place to go with it.
And Larry almost caught that thing.
Yep.
He was worried about his footing.
Yep.
And now it's 3rd down and 1. Penn State, plenty of time remaining, but they need this first down. This might be 2-down territory if they don't get this. The pitch, they won't have to worry about it. Larry Johnson, first down run.
They go for a big play on 2nd and 1. They don't get it. Then they have the confidence to come back and pick it up on 3rd down. That does wonders for this offense.
I don't remember seeing Penn State mix it up offensively like this maybe forever.
If Joe were here, I would kiddingly say to him, well, you finally let your offense loosen up a little bit, huh?
And he'd say, yeah, but Greasy, what do you know?
Oh, boy.
First down. Out of the shotgun now is Mills. The option, he'll keep it. Zach cuts it up inside. He's down to the 26-yard line. Let's check in with John in New York. As Bob said, everybody trying to put that little bit of doubt in your mind with at least a couple of option plays.
Even Rex Grossman in the University of Florida running the option.
Michael Robinson, the number 2 quarterback.
Is in the ball game.
And he's in motion. He took an end around earlier. They fake it to him this time. Larry Johnson straight up the middle. They're still setting up Robinson to have another play sometime in this game. They gave it to him once, faked it to him twice. He might still throw out of that motion before it's all over. Coming up on the Valvoline Halftime Show, John and Terry will be along with scores and highlights from all the games around the country this afternoon. Good looking motorcycle. Where's your helmets, boys?
Yeah.
They don't want to mess up their hair. So they're going to bring out the sticks to take a look.
Brad, I like what Fran Ganner is doing by bringing in Mike Robinson, the backup quarterback. It just gives Nebraska something else to think about. They've had him in the ball game 5 or 6 or 7 times. Most of the time he's been a decoy. The one time he got the ball and ran on a reverse, he's a redshirt freshman quarterback. He was a running quarterback in high school, so he knows what to do with it when he gets it in his hands.
He no doubt does. He had over 3,000 yards rushing in his high school career from that quarterback position. Just outside the Nebraska 23. They fake the toss, come back with a slant, and in and out of the hands of Bryant Johnson. Pat Ricketts had pretty good coverage.
Did you see the way he threw it? He looked like Brett Favre the way he threw this ball. Oh, you got somebody, I can't throw it over, I'll just throw it sidearm.
And he comes over to the sideline quickly for a quick chat. And heads back out.
Watch this. You're going to have a man in his face. He faked the toss. That's Kelsey, so he just throws a little sidearm.
He got a lot on it. It was a pretty good ball, but nice defensive job by Ricketts to not let Bryant Johnson hold on. 2nd down and 10. Now they'll work from the gun again. Mills keeps it. Weaves his way down to the 16-yard line. He's about 3 yards short of the first down. And the clock working its way toward a minute and a half. So now comes a big 3rd down. 3rd and 3. Penn State has 2 timeouts remaining. 291 Penn State offensive yards. Fran's going, come on, let's go, let's go.
Yeah, just
now timeout.
Took too long to get him to play, so take your time, don't rush it.
Well, we'll take a timeout with 1:14 remaining in the half. Coming up Monday night, should be a good ball game. New coach Steve Spurrier makes his Monday Night Football debut. Al Michaels and John Madden will be in Washington, where the revamped Redskins try to clip the wings of Donovan McNabb and the Eagles. It's Monday night at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC.
No ball coach hasn't lost a game yet, has he?
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, good for him.
Off to a good start. This game off to a great start. 10-7 Penn State. Both quarterbacks have played very well tonight. Jamal Lord, 5 of 7. Zach Mills is 15 of 24. Over 200 yards in the air in the first half.
And the 21 yards that he has rushing right here have been very important ones. They've been to turn 2nd and longs into 2nd and shorts, or to pick up a first down. But the 205 yards passing in the first half, I don't know, around here that could be a record.
For a half, it might be. The other quarterback looking on. The one in the spotlight right now is number 7. The redshirt sophomore out of Maryland. 3rd down. A big 3. Zach Mills, half roll and throws. Not quite. Tony Johnson couldn't get there. It was too far in front of him.
Yeah, he had him early, but he probably couldn't see him because he didn't throw it early. He was open early, but just held on to the ball.
And I think you could read Joe's lips when he said, let's go kick it.
Yeah, Chris Kelsey. Kelsey is the guy that's going to block his vision and force him to throw it out of bounds.
Kelsey does a smart thing. When he can't sack a guy, he knows how to get up in the air. Fran Ganter's son, Chris, is the holder, and he is the number 3 quarterback.
Somebody else is not in there.
They're a guy short. They have their holder. There's Chris.
Yeah.
And they might have taken another time out here.
Yeah, they did.
Better that than to botch the field goal.
They were short one man, and one of the wing men was not in there. They only had 10 guys.
One of the very few mistakes Penn State has made, but they lead by 3 with 1:09 remaining in the half.
That's why.
So it's Robbie Gould in for a 33-yard field goal attempt. On the way and good. Just like that. So Gould is 2 for 2 tonight from 20 and now 33, and Penn State stretches its lead to 6.
This has really been a well-played first half. We've had no penalties, no turnovers, no penalties to amount to anything.
Right.
If there weren't touchdowns or field goals, there were punts.
We mentioned this is the 20th anniversary of a classic game played here the last time Nebraska was at Penn State. As we take a look back to '82, there's Joe. He doesn't look much different, does he? That's Todd Blackledge, our buddy. Tom Osborne looking on the other side. Turner Gill up and over. Nebraska leads. Turner's the quarterback coach for Nebraska now. Blackledge back to throw. Throwing from Mike McCluskey. Was he inbounds? Nebraska fans say, are you kidding me? And now it's Kurt Bowman. Second career catch as a Nittany Lion. Did he trap it? The Nittany Lions say no way, and I'll never tell if I did. They win it 27-24. Penn State went on to beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Nebraska went undefeated the rest of the way and won the Orange Bowl. So it was a great, great game. And we've got a good one going on tonight. Kick by Kimball out of the end zone again. And it'll be Nebraska with 1:05 remaining. And trailing by 6. The critics call it stylish, provocative, mysterious, and daring. They're not talking about Lynn Swann. They're talking about the premiere of television's hottest new drama, Push Nevada. Catch a special preview Tuesday at 9, 8 Central, only on ABC.
So all the new shows come in this coming week,
Yep.
huh?
They're starting anyway.
I'm going to check them out.
Drew Carey's coming in. I think everybody starting up. It's about time. We don't have third football games. It's about time they go to work.
There you go.
At the 20. Now it's Lord that'll work from the gun. Fakes the handoff, keeps it himself. Got about 3. And we're under a minute. Matt Rice helped out on the tackle. Backup defensive lineman. Jamal Lord's got a lot of relatives here. Grew up in Bayonne, New Jersey, and a lot of family and friends made the trip over here to watch him play in person. They haven't had the opportunity to do that a lot.
He was born in Brooklyn, wasn't he? When Joe Paterno was born in Brooklyn. He lived in Brooklyn.
And Penn State looked at him as a recruit. Penn State thought of him as a wide receiver or a defensive back. Jamal thought of himself as a quarterback, and he showed us tonight he's a pretty good one. On the option. This time it's the late pitch to Diedrich. Darren really has not been that much of a factor tonight. Anthony Adams, man, he's something. He's a big old teddy bear out there. He helped out on the tackle.
He's Anthony Adams. He's 6 foot, 285, 90 pounds. He's a nose tackle. He's like a bouncing ball. His feet are never on the ground. He's got to be a dancer. I mean, he could be the best dancer going because he's very light, never wears out. He's a little fire plug.
He's got the biggest legs I think I've ever seen. In practice the other day, we were kidding around about it. Look at those thighs. Bigger than most people's chest. Straight up the middle. Big opening for the fullback, and Davies rumbles out across the 40. Gino Capone knocked him off his pins with 10 seconds left in the half. And now Nebraska takes a timeout. They can think about maybe airing out a couple Hail Marys here to see if they can get a big play. Cornhuskers come in 3-0, but only 1-6 is Frank Solich in his 5th year against ranked teams, and that's been hanging over his head now.
On the road.
On the road.
Yeah.
In his defense, 3 of those 6 losses to ranked opponents came against Big 12 teams that would later win the conference crown that year. So the only win was on the road against a ranked team, overtime, Notre Dame 2 years ago.
Right.
And that's when there was a ton of Nebraska fans at Notre Dame. And that's what started all this hoopla about Penn State not selling their tickets to Nebraska fans. There's quite a bit of red in here, but when you're talking about 108,000, it kind of gets mixed in there pretty easily.
They got 4,000 tickets as their share of, and then Chris Anderson, the sports information director for Nebraska, was we were saying, you know, how many normally follow you? He said, well, normally twice what we get. So if we get 4,000, we normally get like 8,000 the fans that follow us. But she said probably about 10,000 here tonight.
Tickets were a hot commodity.
These are good fans, both for Nebraska and Penn State. 2 of the best.
Maybe 2 plays left in the half. Trips to the near side. That's where Lord rolls and now throws shorter underneath, but it's incomplete. Wilson Thomas. That might be the first ball they throw him his way, and he's their big target at 6'6".
Well, this is not Nebraska's strength, especially with a quarterback that is starting his first game on the road. So they don't want to make a mistake. And if the worst thing happens, we'll just go into halftime down by 6 points.
So we've got 1 play left in the second quarter, barring a defensive penalty. And Nebraska's going to take another timeout to talk about what they want to do here. We talked about back in '82, the game between these 2 teams, and showed you the highlights of Todd Blackledge and company. And as we continue our look back, Nebraska went on undefeated the rest of the way. This is the kickoff classic the following year. And it was all one-sided in Nebraska's favor in that opening game. That was the first inaugural kickoff classic, and that was all Nebraska in that one, and that's the last time these two teams have gotten together. 6-5 in the series. Penn State leads it by 1 game. So now we're down to the last
second time out,
play.
John.
Another wide receiver checks in, Mark LaFleur. So 3 to the near side and 1 to the top of your screen. And what should be the final play of the half. Jamal Lord from the shotgun. And he's getting pressured. He may not get a pass off. Now he decides to keep it, get what he can, and he'll get down and add to his rushing statistics to the 43-yard line. Well, that brings the first half to the close. And number 25, Penn State, and their faithful loving the first 30 minutes. Let's go down to Lynn Swan.
Thank you very much, Brad. Coach, first on the offensive side, on your defensive side, what do you have to do to stop this unusually wide open Penn State offense?
Yeah, well, we've got to just play some solid base defense and not have guys out of position. They're doing a good job offensively of moving the football, but we're out of position more than anything, and we just got to certainly slow them down some and maybe create some turnovers. That would help too.
On the offensive side, will you change anything substantially?
Well, a touchdown and an extra point will win this thing right now, and so that's, we're going to work towards getting it in the end zone, whatever we have to do, run, play action pass, or the throwing game.
Coach, thank you very much. Well, right now, Nebraska's going to have to go back in the locker room and really make something happen. But in the Happy Valley, they are very happy with that first half of play. We're going to take a break. We'll come back, and you'll go to New York and John Sanders for the Valvoline halftime report.
Really enjoying halftime at Beaver Stadium. The team from '82 that beat Nebraska and then won the national championship. Guys like Kurt Warner, Greg Garrity, Kenny Jackson, Shane Conlon. The whole group here from that '82 team that went on to beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. I know Todd Blackledge would have loved to have been here, but he had to work today. He had the Georgia-South Carolina game. ABC Sports presentation of college football return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.